Yes, good morning, everyone. Um, First of all, before I get started, I'd like to thank Eric and Claire, Casey and Sam for sharing today. Uh, we all know the resources and talents of Purdue are fairly massive with regards to manufacturing, but when we get local companies to share and a willingness to share, their best practices and their experiences, that's a valuable resource. An opportunity for everybody participating on these conferences. So today I want to share a new engagement and connectivity opportunity and effort that Purdue is looking at forming called the Purdue Manufacturing Gateway. At the beginning of the session today, Steve briefly talked about the WIN grant and some of the work of the WIN Purdue team. I'm the Purdue Managing Director for the WIN project, and I'm co-leading this new effort called the Purdue Manufacturing Gateway. So if we can go to the next slide. Part of the WIN project team, we're about halfway through the 5-year grant, and we recently performed a SWOT analysis, and we formed a committee of stakeholders involving farmers and manufacturers and regional stakeholders. And one of the feedbacks that we got from this SWOT analysis was manufacturing companies really have a difficulty at sometimes connecting to Purdue. In the ag sector, we have ag extension, which has been around for probably close to 100 years, where virtually every farmer in the state can just pick up a phone, call their extension office, and connect to campus, connect to Purdue. And with regards to manufacturing, Purdue is so large. We have so many different connecting points. We have so many different groups and centers and colleges involved with manufacturing. It can be overwhelming at times for manufacturers to pick up the phone and know where to start to find a solution or an answer to a question about their manufacturing issues. So we're looking at forming something called the Purdue Manufacturing Gateway. And we're hoping as we go into this effort that this gateway will be just a continuation and an expansion of the manufacturing engagement strategies and efforts that have already been underway for the first half of the WIN grant. And we hope that through this, we can create a new standard of engagement, a new model for engagement for manufacturing companies, not only in the WIN region initially, but maybe how the university engages in the future across the state. Next slide, please. So the gateway, as we look at creating this initially, very soon we'll be probably looking at the membership or the group of gateway companies will be the manufacturing base within the 10-county WIN region. We have close to 300, 400 manufacturers in this 10-county area, and we'll really focus some of our gateway efforts with regards to that manufacturing base and other companies around Indiana as well. As we form the gateway is going to be free to all the WIN companies, especially for the duration of the WIN grant, which goes through the end of fiscal year 2022. And manufacturers who are part of the gateway willing to participate, they'll be able to basically participate in all our gateway events, our functions, all of the services, all of the things that if you've been involved with the WIN project, whether it's seminars, workshops, classes, all of those type of events as we build up and start to launch our manufacturing test bed out at the IMI building and courses and classwork there, manufacturers will be able to participate in all of those events moving forward for the balance of the grant and hopefully beyond. Next slide, please. So the main purpose of the gateway is really, to help and continue to serve and support all of our manufacturing industry, not only in the WIN region, but across the whole state of Indiana. Each of you are very challenged in your business environments. Manufacturing is very diverse across the region. Each of you have different challenges on a daily, weekly, yearly basis. And we're here to help and connect you with the talents and resources of Purdue to help you through those issues. Hopefully we hope to achieve some of this assistance through technology adaptation. I mean, a lot of the WIN project is about technology and Industry 4.0 and the adoption of that technology. But it's also things like other educational programs, technical and non-technical programs, and just bringing companies together in events like this for networking. Like I said, it's invaluable when we get companies together, they share their best ideas, their best thoughts, and the Gateway is hopefully one avenue we can bring companies together, large, medium, and small, to just talk through issues and best practices. Also, the Gateway, we want to make it as a front door, connecting point for you, and hopefully a model for sustaining our activities after the grant has expired. The Gateway, if you look at Gateway definition, it means an access or an entry point into a place. So we really want the Gateway to become a connector to connect you to Purdue. Like I said, the SWOT analysis showed that we need some type of a uniform connection tool for manufacturers, because right now so many companies are just don't know where to start. So we want to be that connecting tool, this common link for bringing manufacturers to Purdue as a starting point. We will use the balance of the next 2.5 years of the WIN grant to kind of pilot and develop this program in the WIN region. And we also want to have an SME or a small and medium-sized enterprise focus in what we're doing. We all know that the large companies, the GEs, the Rolls-Royces, the Subarus, the Caterpillars, these large companies have connections, strong connections in history with Purdue. But a lot of the small, medium-sized enterprises don't really have those strong connections or history, just because they're maybe overwhelmed with the idea of approaching Purdue, don't know where to start. So we really want to develop a small, medium-sized engagement model that the university can move forward with as we take this out of the WIN region after the grant and try to pilot on a larger scale across Indiana. So as I said, we really want to focus on that SME group. There's over 8,000 manufacturers in the state, and probably 85 to 90% of those companies are in a small, medium-sized area. So this is a big focus point for us moving forward. We will be forming as part of this Gateway, we will be forming a industry-led advisory committee. We're in the process of forming that now, and these folks will help guide and direct us as we develop the Gateway, help promote it through the region. And like I said, the two biggest focus areas for us through the purpose of forming the Gateway is to be a single point entry contact for manufacturers and trying to make it easier for manufacturing companies to connect to Purdue. 2 phases as we see it with the Gateway. The pilot phase, which is the next 2.5 years, during the remaining part of the WIN grant. That's what we're calling phase 1. That's where we're really going to pilot and develop the Gateway concept. We'll learn from our mistakes, learn from what works, what doesn't work, and then hopefully move into a second phase after the WIN grant. And after that WIN grant money has expired, develop a long-term strategy, a sustainable organization as to how we take the Gateway forward, continue to sustain and do the things that we're doing in the WIN region, and how do we scale that up after the WIN grant across all of Indiana for manufacturers. So how can we make a difference with this gateway concept? Well, hopefully we can be a centralized channel for communication. You know, we can be the entry point. We can be your first phone call, your first email, you know, whether it's a problem on your factory floor or employee training problem or whatever your problem is and whatever you think Purdue can help you with. Hopefully we'll be a single point contact for you, a one-stop shop per se. And a connector, because we don't have all of the answers. And whether it's connecting you to, you know, this organization at Purdue or this group over here or this professor with this expertise, or even if we need to say, well, Purdue's not the expert, you need to go to Ivy Tech, or you need to go to Ohio State, or wherever that expertise is for that problem, hopefully connect you to those folks that can help you. We want to be a resource place. We want to have a special focus on helping you regarding whether it's a technical issue, whether it could be a workforce training issue with your employees, you know, technical assistance with special projects, you know, or just informing, you know, companies about our events, you know, our classes, our workshops, our webinars, or just networking events inside and outside of the region and so on. So those are a lot of the things that we hope we can make a difference by unifying all of these efforts under this Purdue Manufacturing Gateway effort. We're also looking to bring all of the manufacturing groups together at Purdue to look at an opportunity to explore more funding through larger scale grants for some of the manufacturing opportunities, both within the academic area, and then also looking for grant opportunities where we can engage with industry in the region for grant opportunities where we take research and deploy it into industry partners. And there are grant opportunities out there. So, and all of that leads up to funding sustainable efforts that we can take and develop these concepts. And a lot of the work that's underway now between manufacturers with the WIN grant, as we develop grants and opportunities and seek grants and funding, we have those funding sources available to continue these efforts and sustain these efforts after the WIN grant has expired. So where are we today? Our current status with the Gateway, you know, we're forming our guidance industry-led committee right now. We're going to have 6 members initially from small, medium, and large manufacturers in the region involved with our initial committee. We're forming that committee presently, and we plan to begin meetings here in the month of September. Internal of Purdue, the Gateway initially is going to be co-led by myself and Jan Anders Monson. Jan Anders is co-director of NMAC out at IMI. He's also the Purdue WIN manufacturing lead for that side of the project. And Jan Anders and myself and some other Purdue team members, as we develop the Gateway, we'll be rolling out some details. We'll be talking about our committee members. We'll be talking about other Purdue team members and groups. As we really finalize our Gateway plans, we'll be sharing a lot more of this information to all of the WIN companies around the region. So in closing, just look for some additional communication, probably coming out in September about the full launch of the Gateway. And hopefully we'll be able to establish something here that's new and exciting for manufacturers, something that manufacturers will see as an easier, quicker, more efficient way of connecting to Purdue. And thanks. I really thank everyone for listening today and making me offering me a time to introduce this concept to the folks here today. And then my email and phone number is there. So if you have any questions, just reach out to me, and I guess I'll send things back to Angus.